So Mortal Kombat is officially out, and I'm gonna give my thoughts on it right now. So Mortal Kombat is the newest movie in this established franchise that has come out this year. It's also been delayed a couple of weeks too from its prior run date, as you know, COVID is starting to affect the movie industry, which I'm not going to talk about that too much. You guys are here to hear about what my thoughts are on the movie. So, Mortal Kombat follows this character named Cole Young as he discovers this weird dragon marking that he's had on his chest from birth. And it turns out that it's not a birthmark, and he has been chosen to fight in the tournament known as Mortal Kombat, as we get introduced to characters such as Sub-Zero, Raiden, Shang Tsung, and all the beloved characters from the beloved franchise. Now, I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all. This is just a fan service movie. If you guys are watching this movie without having any prior knowledge to this movie, or to the franchise, you guys are really not gonna like this one. And even as a fan of this franchise, I even still have problems with this movie. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get all the negatives out the way before I jump into the positives. Number one, the biggest critique I have for this movie is, and it's really unfortunate considering this is supposed to be the main character of the movie, it is in fact Cole Young. He is the created character for this movie, and I do not have a problem with creating characters for movies. As a matter of fact, you should create characters for movies. You should take liberties with these characters and liberties with stories and make something different and unique in your own. But don't make this bullcrap right here. Alright, Cole Young is the most bland character I've seen in the franchise ever. And his performance throughout the movie is fine. I'm not talking about the actor. I'm talking about the character. The writing is extremely sloppy. He is given literal plot armor, which I don't want to talk about that too much because that would be jumping into spoilers. But this character just serves as a plot device to explain dialogue to the audience who is confused about what's going on. And that's really all he's there for. And it's unfortunate because as the main character, you should feel a connection with the character, but the film never has, or at least for me personally, it never had me feel any type of connection with this guy. And unfortunately, that's really sad considering, like I said, the movie follows this guy, but I don't feel any connection with him. And that's a really bad feeling to have. Next issue, the story. The story is extremely rushed. There is no time to breathe, which it's an hour and 50 minutes. You can tell a very simple story in this movie. But they do not spend a lot of time establishing these characters within the story. So the only connection that you're gonna have with them is basically what you get from the video games. Except maybe about 3 characters, and that's about it. But other than that, you're not really gonna have any sort of connection with these characters whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I was even in the theater looking and saying, okay, so who can we kill off? But yes, the story is not allowed time to breathe, and in that regard, the story suffers heavily, if you know what I mean. So, like I said, if you're not a fan of this franchise, you're gonna have no clue what in the world is going on. And as a matter of fact, even as a fan of the franchise, there's a lot of things that they did with the story that I was even confused about, and I can't even explain. Next issue, the fights. Yes, I'm bragging, I'm like nitpicking on those fights, because that's what you go into a Mortal Kombat movie to see. You come in to see epic fights and bloody fights and stuff like that. But really, I'm gonna be quite honest, there's only 2 fights in this movie that I could say were really good. And a fatality that goes to a certain character that involves splitting them in half. But that's about it. And most of the fights are very throwaway. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying that it's very choppy and choppy editing, and you don't really get a sense of all of what's going on. And it's probably to cover up some of the bad choreography as well. But actually, scratch that. There's maybe 3 fights that I can say is good. But one of them isn't really a fight. It's just leading up to a fatality that involves a backstory to a character that we all see in the trailer. Yeah, that guy. That, and there's a couple of things that take place in the film that I really just rolled my eyes at. I was like, come on now. Can we give these characters their moments to shine and not have another character jump into the battle when it's supposed to be 1v1? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you guys seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But until you guys see the movie, you guys will get my drift when you see it. But anyways, now that I got all the negatives out the way, let's talk about some of the good, because there's actually quite a bit of good in this movie. Even though I nitpicked on the fights, they're still what you would expect as in terms of being bloody and gory and stuff like that, especially from a property like Mortal Kombat, which we all know paved the way for rating systems in video game history, considering it was extremely violent.
Sub-Zero wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
But yeah, honestly, it's definitely very bloody and very gory, and definitely not something you'd be showing your kids. Why would you even bring your kids to an R-rated movie? I don't know, but still, not something to watch for kids. That, and there are 3 characters that were really good. One of them I did not expect to like this much. And one of them, the one that I'm talking about, I did not expect this was actually Kano. The guy who played as Kano killed it in this movie. He was doing a good job. Like, he had great dialogue, he was funny, and he was just everything I expected Kano to be. Sub-Zero was also really good as well. He served as a big threat in this movie. And you can really feel that presence whenever he's on screen. This actor, the special effects team, bravo. You guys did a good job on Sub-Zero. And the last one is Scorpion. Scorpion is amazing for the little scenes he's in. But hey, you know, we got a really good Scorpion. That, and even with all the issues of this movie, I gotta say, way better than the originals. And this is gonna be a hot take. I did not like the first Mortal Kombat, alright? You know what? No, I'm gonna say it proudly. I did not like the first Mortal Kombat. I thought the first Mortal Kombat was pretty bad, and Annihilation was atrocious, alright? Annihilation at least was laughably bad, but Mortal Kombat, the first one, I remember when I was watching that, I didn't like it so much. I hated that movie so much, to the point where I started doodling in my notepad. I did not like that original Mortal Kombat movie. Alright? That movie, in my opinion, is just such an injustice to those characters. This movie, for the most part, does that, and it's definitely better than the original. Definitely not a perfect film by any means. There's a lot of pacing issues and story issues and character issues, but it's still at least a fun ride all the way through, and it's definitely slightly one of the better video game movies. So in that regard, I'd say Mortal Kombat is a decent film. Now, if you guys have not seen Mortal Kombat, I cannot stress it enough. If you're old enough, go see it. Do not have your kids watching this. But if you guys aren't a fan, I would recommend not wasting your time with this one, because, like I said, it's really just a fan service movie, and it's honestly not anything that you would understand if you are not a fan of this franchise. So that's my final thoughts. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comments section. And as always, if you guys like the video, make sure to subscribe today to join the Isaiahization.